world? Welcome back to Spoiling Dead, the show where we talk about the latest Walking Dead episode. This episode is brought to you by Rad Threads, a unique clothing line with filmmakers in mind. You can find that at www.radentertain.com/radthreads. I am your host, Rebekah Erb, and I'm with my dudes, Daniel Murphy and Tony Walters. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Let's get Spoiling Dead started. How's it going?
It's good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah. Pretty good episode.
It was a really good episode.
Absolutely. I, of course, still have complaints. Let's get the complaints out of the way.
Okay, let's get them out of the way, because it was a good one.
Absolutely. Again, it's just too rushed. I feel like there was just like scenes that were completely missing and jarring cuts to another situation to where I'm just like, that just seemed too fast forward. Also, I wanted to see more of the battle at Hilltop.
Okay.
I feel like we were gypped on that side of things because the beginning was great.
Right.
And then all of a sudden
they left it in a, how can they get out of that situation?
Exactly. And then all of a sudden everybody is split up.
Right.
And we're catching up with where they are, which of course is
a lot of that.
Yeah.
If they'd have done it like in a more flashy, more urgent way, like things were chaotic.
Probably,
and smoke
yeah.
And nobody knew. Yeah.
And
I agree with you on the
chunk.
actual getting out of the situation they were in the week before. There was nothing.
Yeah.
So that was very anticlimactic for me.
Yeah,
I like the
absolutely.
way they jumped around from each group to each
Yeah,
group.
once we got settled into figuring out what's going on with
Just
everybody
going
else.
from that to that was a
Yeah.
bit loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
But it was good. It was
The
good.
payoff, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to split the group up to obviously get that to happen. And it was just a last minute. I mean, obviously, Negan was working up to things, but he took advantage of the situation. And maybe he knew ahead of time once this started. He knew this was when he was going to make his move, right?
Yeah.
So he's kind of
figuring out. I do think that it was luck. Just like luck and preparation
it was
coming
just
at the same point.
Perfect
for
storm.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
And
well, not just that, but, I guess to me, I don't think that he really knew what her huge game plan was.
But though, if you think about it, he didn't really even need to have her.
No.
He didn't really need to kidnap her.
No.
That was actually what I was going to say as far as my beefs go. That was the only thing that
though, was he just plucking her out, putting her
just to keep her safe
for now?
That's what I think too.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
So I mean, that's we'll figure out. But yeah, for his plan, he probably knew after the war this is when he was going to do it.
Yep.
Because if he had her or not, he would just try it.
Yeah.
But no, totally a little bit of luck too, like for sure.
I think so too.
And maybe bad, like you're trying to say, a little bit of like kind of bad riding to get him there.
Yeah.
But you're right. I was expecting at least a death there that was going to be a big one that maybe brought upon
absolutely
a catalyst setting.
I think that my issue was there were a couple of just like some kind of weird slow moments with who was it? Was that me?
Oh.
Some like kind of slow moments with who was it? The Whisperer chick that died. What's her name?
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
Mary.
Gamma.
Yeah,
Mary.
yeah,
Right.
And her nephew or whatever.
I feel like
that whole scene was like them trying to get closure so that way they could kill her off.
Totally was. I mean, they squeezed it in, but I felt like, again, with what Becca was saying, the guy was so pissed at first. No way, get the hell out of here, and then just went, all right. So I mean, it was just like, they had to just make it happen. They had to get from A to B. They did a fine enough job of it, and the little things like that,
that was touching. Like they did do it well,
and they had to do that. Like if they'd killed her without her having a moment with her nephew, that would have been shitty.
Absolutely, that was. I mean, I'm a big softie, so with little things like that, I'm just like, oh.
I mean, even in her mind, when she was getting taken out by Beta, she probably she
my gosh, she
literally
was so
took
mad.
one
She
for
was
the
like-
team. I mean, she led
She
him away.
did,
She
but you
knew,
could tell that she was like,
but she was grateful for having that moment, and
Yeah.
that was like her unfinished business. Kind of
Absolutely.
like now she can die just helping him.
yeah.
How do you feel about like her tearing part of his face off?
I love that.
And
That
then,
was
but what was
great.
up with the other
Oh!
whisperer?
They recognized him.
Yeah,
Right.
but for who? He was like, your voice sounded familiar.
Right, I knew you sounded familiar. Right, that's brilliant. I feel
What
like
is
he probably
that?
came. I feel like he came from another camp that we're about to see,
You think so?
and he was maybe rejected from that. Like,
I don't
who else
know.
could he be?
Yeah.
Unless he's somebody like famous.
See, that's
like,
what I was
is
thinking.
he like the vice president or something like that? No, that's big.
That would
That
be
would be kinda
like-
crazy.
But,
Yeah,
but
that would be
what
kinda
if he was
crazy.
somebody like that of
That would be-
importance?
Is this
And
anywhere
he's been talking
in
like
the
Batman just to hide who he is.
right? But is this in the comics anywhere?
don't
like
know.
a backstory
I'm not.
of his?
I really haven't
I'm
looked
really
into
not
it.
caught up on that. I
Okay,
read
I'm
that
not either,
article
and I
last
usually,
week,
right.
and I kind of spoiled it for myself.
Yeah, I usually stay out of it, but I kind of like hearing backstories, especially if we don't really get
But,
them.
and that was exciting. When they
Which-
said that was like,
right.
this could. And so obviously, we're going to find out soon.
I would hope so.
'Cause the
that they-
whisperers are on their way out
I would
the
hope
door.
that they won't leave that hanging for
Oh, no,
too
they
long.
wouldn't give us such a
Because
big.
then it would just be stale
Yeah,
and
they need to
not
give
as,
give us
yeah,
that soon.
Yeah.
But if he's somebody, that could be
Speaking
good.
of backstory, though, it was interesting that Negan opened up to Alpha so much. Like,
I feel like he
did he really have that connection
well, I
with
feel
her?
like
because
he knew what he was going to do, so it didn't really matter what
Well,
he told
no,
her.
I think-
so he may as well take advantage of her and use her like a shrink.
Well, I think he knew what he had to do, and he
To
was
soften
trying.
her up.
I know. I think he was just trying to talk her
He
out
was-
of it. Like
he
I think he
was
was
trying to
trying to
talk
see
the
if
whole
she
way
had
through,
any
yeah.
kind of like
lean
if there was any chance of
towards
saving her
the-
whatsoever.
Right, he gave her moments throughout. I mean, last week with the, I thought you were going to put him, on your team. Yeah, I am. I'm going to make him part of the horde. Whereas this episode, he had a lot of moments like that. Like he said, you could just do this. Well, no, I'm blah, 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 blah. With the daughter, as they were walking up to the place, gave her 2 or 3 way outs. So it's just like
So with
he
all
wanted
of
to
that,
give her the chance.
Right. So did he want to give her the chance because he had a particular soft spot for her?
No, I just
Maybe
feel like he wanted to
she-
try and do it the right way
Right.
for once.
Okay.
But
That's how
I
that
got-
was the vibe that I got.
Yeah,
like
there
I
was
got
just
a
no
little
getting-
flare of
I
like
knew-
maybe
I
a
think-
soft spot because of like remembrance for his
wife.
wife
Yeah, all
and
that
how
too.
her
I
state
feel like
was
he's
and
more human
whatever.
than he's been in a while.
Right.
I think he had some respect for her.
Yeah, he
like, I
did.
think he had some respect for her. Like
Right,
he was in
right.
her shoes. He thought, he
Right.
could lead with fear, and like I think he had some kind of respect for her
But
to be
that-
able to survive for as long as she
Yeah,
did in the way that
she's
they've
too
done it.
primal.
But yeah, but she was just too primal. That's
She's
a
too
good way to
proud.
put
There's
it.
no talking her down now. And even like he said, shouldn't your new queen be your daughter? Like you trying to talk her in like the animal language that she speaks or whatever. But it's just, yeah, I know, and I almost. You knew right away he was going to kill her. Then I knew that he was going to kill
Right.
her.
I mean,
Right.
I knew he was.
You
Right.
I
knew
knew it
'cause
was
that
a
was
trap.
his chance. You knew from the
Right.
beginning, like
They got me with
okay.
having her in a different cabin. That was absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah, that was
Like
good
that-
editing.
that got
it
me.
looked good.
And as soon as they opened the door, I even said, I'm like, she's not in there. It's a different
Right.
place.
Right. It was the tension
Up
built up
till
to
then, I'm
the
like-
point of
and my
like
brain's like, how are they gonna do this? How are they gonna do this?
right. They built that tension up to the point of like, okay, he's gonna kill her right in front of her daughter. Like that's what I
No,
thought.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
that's when I think
Same,
my
same.
mind changed and went,
Right.
he wouldn't do that at this point. Like,
Right.
and
Well,
then
maybe
it's
he
like
thought
she's
that
not
that's
in
what
there.
she needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was just a lot of
Right.
emotion. And
Yeah.
it was brilliant how they
Absolutely.
did it,
Absolutely.
just to show Negan it as well, being Negan that
Yeah.
did it.
how
that
do you
way.
feel with his interaction with what's his name, Ross? What's the actor's name is Ross? What's the character name?
Oh yeah, Aaron.
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 I feel like that's
that
just gonna
was good.
Yeah,
that was good.
Do you think is there any coming back though for Negan?
I feel
Can
like
he come
yeah,
back to this group?
because Carol knows.
Right, but Carol's not really on the high priority
but once
list these
everybody
days.
finds out, once
Right.
everybody finds
Right.
out, and then we're not gonna know next week because it's a Michonne episode next week. We ain't gonna see crap.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
Yeah.
it's interesting. Yeah, I
No,
don't
no,
know
no, I
how
think
he's
they've
gonna
given
come
us-
back from this.
they've given us some stuff to give us a little bit more stuff before they wrap it up.
Right.
Like
Can
they've
I-
given us some content.
Can I speak? You mentioned next week's episode. Next week's episode is called "What We Become," which is going to be Michonne's whole episode. But the week after that, the episode title, and I don't know if this is how much you trust IMDb as far as things like this, but they usually know the next couple episode
They know
titles
the
sometimes
names.
here and there.
Sure.
Episode. It'll be what is this? This one was 12, so episode 14.
Spoiler
yeah.
ahead, I can feel it.
Is
Episode
it- is
14.
it?
Huh?
Is it a spoiler?
I think it's foreshadowing to a major death, and because the episode is called
So this is what you were kind of like speaking of
earlier before we went
Okay.
live.
Is it
yeah.
called If Daryl Dies, We Riot?
No, the episode's called "Look at the Flowers."
Oh, that's Carol.
Yeah. You think that's foreshadowing to Carol's death?
I feel like it is, yeah.
Look at the flowers,
Totally.
man. What an
Or-
like. What's the? Does it
or-
have a preview?
It
thing?
has a description.
It could just be Carol. You know how sometimes they take you on like an emotional ride
Like a
inside
bottle
somebody's head?
episode?
It could be
Right.
Carol just coming to terms with her demons and what she's done and just flashing
And
back
then
on some
dying.
of her. But I feel like it could wrap up because we mentioned we think she's going to go out.
Right.
But the description of the episode is heroes and villains reckon with the aftermath of the Hilltop Fire. Eugene takes a group on a journey to meet Stephanie with the
Yeah.
hopes of befriending another civilization.
Yeah.
So that's
Totally.
not next episode because we have
That-
Michonne.
right.
It's the
Yeah.
following.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Michonne episode's called "What We Become," and the description is Michonne takes Virgil back to his mysterious island to reunite with his family. In exchange, Virgil promises weapons that could change the tide of the Whisperer War.
Right.
There's also
I remember
another
that was, like, a
episode-
thing.
Bit late there.
The Tower. Well, the Whisperer War's still on.
We don't know too if the Michonne episode is back before the battle. Like
Right.
the
True.
timelines could be like.
True.
she
I mean, it
comes-
could be happening. It could be after the
she
battle.
could
She just
pop
doesn't
right
know.
back up in
You
the
know?
one after it. Like,
Right.
Like she. It just
But
happened.
the next episode though after Look at the Flowers is called The Tower, and it says the communities prepare for the final battle of the Whisperer War. Meanwhile, Eugene's group encounters Princess.
Well, okay then. With that in mind, do you think that Negan is going to pretend he's the leader for a little while?
I
Do you
think
think
Beta.
Beta's
I
gonna
think
like
it's Beta.
stomp on him, and he's gonna go
think-
full on crazy with the rest of them?
Yes, I think Beta leads the
Because now with the
team.
whole
Beta's the new alpha.
Mask being ripped, like he's
So then it's just like a
evolving.
whole nother threat that they're gonna have to come together and try
And if
get
Beta's
this
somebody
new-
special, he's got a lot of skills. Who is this guy? Like he did the
Right,
whole sat bombs, and
absolutely.
he's a general or something. What if he's like a general?
that would be interesting.
And this other guy was like a soldier once,
right.
and he recognized him because he was his drill instructor or something along the lines of that.
Something.
Like he's military.
And where
he's
Alpha found him, he already had the mask on.
so he'd
Correct?
already.
He already
No, he had a different mask on, right?
Where was
Didn't he?
Alpha held up at the beginning?
Right.
She was in some
'Cause
kind
then
of.
he
Because they
had-
were in like a
Because then he had
bunker or
family
something.
members that he had in there that ended up getting killed because of Lydia,
Okay.
and then that's how they connected. But
They
he
haven't given
already
us
had
much
a mask.
on who he is, though. Have
No, not at all.
definitely
But
not.
I can't remember if he had a mask on when they first met each other, because I think he had like a bag kind of thing over his face, didn't
You're
he?
right. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
So he was hiding
For
his face
sure.
because of who he is.
Uh huh.
So he's somebody.
And then it just
Important.
created this whispered thing just by fault, connecting with.
Right, and it's
you
what
know,
he does.
her,
Because this guy's
right.
got skills. Like he's a Navy SEAL or some kind of commander
Right.
or
He had a ski mask on. That's what he had. I
ski
just-
mask. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Maybe he's Jason Voorhees.
Interesting. And
Yeah.
then Judith is being forced to grow up quite.
I mean,
It's just.
she was to me. She was already. She was mentally there, prepared for something like that. Almost. This has
Right.
taken her to the next level.
Absolutely.
But
like
luckily, she didn't have to kill him while he was alive, because then that
Right.
would have been a whole nother
that
level.
whole thing
there.
was very interesting. Like, the
That
moment
was
I saw
when
him, I was
he
like,
hammered
"Oh,
that thing
he's
into
sick."
the table. I was just like, he's gonna just slam his own head down on that. Oh my
that was pretty cool
God.
though.
That was pretty cool.
And he looked really good too,
Mm-hmm.
didn't
He looked really sick. It was pretty
Absolutely.
great.
And then that's like another thing.
But he
like,
saved the kids.
He saved the kids. I think Judith probably was more of the one that saved the kids and all that jazz. But
Well, he saved the kids, as in
As-
got them
He
out of
got 'em
there,
there.
got them out of
Yes,
Hilltop,
But
and got
she
them to the-
definitely was the one that took
Yes.
control of the situation.
But I would like to know how Ezekiel got underneath that piece of the fence. Like, there's just so much of
Maybe
that
he-
chunk
maybe
that I
he-
feel like we really
No,
got gypped.
I agree with that. Because
Like,
that was very
Let's
like
just go back and get him. Oh,
he's
there
underneath
he
a
is.
piece of car
And-
door.
yeah.
But I mean, I get that there could have been an explosion and it fell on him. But yeah, why not
Absolutely.
just show him flying?
Yeah.
getting in-
It seemed like this was like 2 episodes packed into one.
Which,
like,
again,
or at least an episode and a half.
if Game of
packed
Thrones
into
is going
one.
to do it, they may as well do it too. I mean, they did
I know
they
you
did
mentioned
skip
that
over on
before.
something, and we were excited for the
the
battle,
little
and it
battle,
ended up just being
yeah.
little pockets of fighting.
Yeah.
Well, I just think
Which
that the
were
battle
really
mostly
cool.
happened in the last episode. The last episode had a lot of the battle.
Yeah, but it ended at a
did.
really epic moment where to me it felt like there was no way they could have got out of that.
Right, but
Right.
I mean, based
then
on
we
just the
didn't see how
trailer
they got
for
out
this
of it.
episode,
Right, the
in last
trailer
week's
ruined it.
in last week's Spoiling Dead, I said, well, clearly they all just go
Right.
walk around
Which
the
is
daylight.
great.
and it's totally
Great.
fine.
That's fine and dandy. But let's see how they got
agree,
out.
I agree.
Like,
They got out by walking through the woods.
Pure determination,
whatever.
blood,
But
sweat, and tears.
the stuff with Judith was great. It's interesting just to see her grow at such a young age because we saw the same thing happen with Carl. You know what I mean? And his
But
first
she's
kill
ahead
and his
of him too. I
Oh,
feel
absolutely.
like she's
Oh
just
my
got
Oh,
that.
for sure.
gosh,
Yeah, because she's
absolutely.
grown up.
Face.
She's
he still
born
had
in
a
it.
little chunk of like the normal before world.
Right.
You
But
know?
she's also had a Michonne.
But-
If you think about her approach, she's always got that no expression face where you can't really read her.
where she's just calm and collected.
Right, but sometimes too
and-
she could also be scary.
Mhm.
But she's just you don't really know what you're gonna
Yeah.
get from her.
And the little connection with her and Daryl, just sitting there and
Oh yeah.
taking a moment was really nice. I feel like that would have been nicer if the episode was more fast paced. Again, if we were able to see more of the battle, then them getting out, and then the moment of her and Dale resting
More
would have
tension.
felt so
Yeah,
much better.
But he was just
But
basically
it was still
taking,
really good.
just bringing her back to reality.
Yeah,
because
because he knows what she's going through.
The guy was
Like,
there. He didn't care. He just sat there and
right.
you gotta just. Take
But
a
there
minute.
was a moment that they're having a funny way of doing this, of me like really thinking multiple times now, like after like coming back, like, oh no, is this character really gone? Is this really the time? Because I thought, oh, he's gonna walk in and she's gonna have this little bite on her arm or something.
I wasn't worried about
And-
Judith just because of
of like her age
a bit
and
like what
who
you're
she
saying,
is.
but I feel like they're gonna do that to other people,
right.
like Carol and I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
But like you mentioned earlier, I was expecting a bigger death as well. Like,
For,
know,
yeah, for the
what's his
in the
face?
battle,
Which I don't remember the Smithy's name. I feel bad, but that was a big one. I liked him a lot. He was around for a while.
Oh, right. Yeah.
but he wasn't
But
part of the.
he wasn't
the
who we
squad.
thought. Yeah,
no, he was an
exactly.
expendable character.
Also, too,
Yeah,
which we've skimmed
yeah.
over. Now we're talking about
Yes,
this.
exactly. With Magma,
The other girl
not
from
Magma,
the
I keep
caves.
doing that.
She's not dead.
Magnus.
She's not.
Is she not? They just got separated.
separated.
Connie,
Connie.
and Magnus.
It's Magna.
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 I always get her
But
name.
yeah,
you
they
call her
just got-
magma.
Magma.
And it's magna. Liquid
Badass
hot
bimbo.
magma.
Because of badass bimbo.
surrounded by freaking idiots? no.
That's good.
Connie.
Connie.
Yeah, so they just got split
separated.
up.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, of
Yeah.
course they're fearing the worst, but I think Connie is way more
Adaptable.
like adaptable than
Yeah,
She-
no, I
she
think
was
she's
in her
totally
right frame
fine.
of
I mean, they're not going to
mind.
give her just an off-screen death. There's no
No.
way.
Right. True.
She's
True.
whispering her way back into things.
Right. But how just like, I mean, if you were there,
Just imagine you were really
how just like horrifying would it be to like be moving your way through pitch black dark cave and then you just find
Like
the horde.
shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah,
And then
and then
you're
you're
in
in the horde,
walkers.
and that's
You're in
it.
it.
You're
Right.
just in the horde, and you just have to exist there until
Until
and
they
then
move.
oh
But
wait, the
at
horde
least-
is moving.
No sound.
Right.
You're shoulder to shoulder with it.
Well, not just that, but at least like in that situation, you know war is coming, so they were moving the horde anyway. So you know like you're gonna get out eventually. Like so at
Maybe
least,
not
like,
if
What
the
if you
team you're
s- what
rooting
if you-
for wins and
what if-
succeeds
yeah,
and
what if
blows
you-
up the horde.
what if
Carol
you
was
s-
trying to crumble the whole building.
True.
What if you
That's
just
a good point.
sneeze?
And to their knowledge, maybe that was the only way out. Like Daryl
You
knew
just
that
get
there
the
were other entrances,
coronavirus
but
and
did they
cough.
know?
But
Could
he
you-
never,
in that?
he never did get the chance to go look for
Yeah,
him.
you never
really.
have to find it.
Right.
I don't know. That's crazy.
But that's just like a terrifying like.
It
just
is.
like,
Like you could see it in her face that
Oh.
she'd been through hell
Yeah.
Yeah.
getting back.
Yeah.
Right. How many days has it been?
Walking,
Just walking.
not eating.
Right.
Just
Can't even take a piss.
you can't move away from them.
You're
You're
just
stuck
walking.
in there. It's
Yeah.
like going to get toilet paper right now. You just you can't go
Yeah.
anywhere else. But they'll have 500
Right.
people in a CVS.
But it was like when you saw her face like emerge like among.
Oh God,
that
And
was
you're
so
like,
good.
Is that her? She just looks like
And then I'm
crap.
just like hitting Tony. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. She hit me a lot last night,
I
actually.
did. It was a good.
It was a hit your friends
Oh,
kind of.
It was. There was a
Especially
lot
right
of
at the end.
punches. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Goodness me.
Yeah. I mean, all around, they're doing good. I just wish they would let us digest. Just,
I
you know,
feel like
spread
they
out the
should've-
meat a
they-
little
what-
bit.
Right
Spread
now,
out the
last
butter.
week they should have given us a bit more battle,
Yes.
a cliffhanger that's actually worthy of coming back to.
Yes.
Finish out that a little bit
Just a
more.
little bit, a
Show
little bit more
a
of
bit
them.
more of the separation of
And
them.
how they got out
Right,
and
because
everything.
they could have created some great tension with the moment we were waiting to see explained, and that would be why half of them got split up. What if,
Yeah,
like
for
a wall
sure.
collapse. Oh no, I'm
For
on this
sure.
side, you're on that side.
And
Instead, they
they,
had this
like-
really cool shot of everyone. Did you see that?
Right.
Where they were like looked like a comic book cover for about
Mm-hmm.
a split second.
Yeah. The splash page.
Yeah, but you know. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
They absolutely did that. And
Yeah.
then when I was watching the battle, I'm like, I can't wait to see how they get out of this. They didn't
So,
really
since
show
we
it.
didn't see any of that, do you think
There's
that they
another
got
battle coming.
separated, like just because they got separated and there's
Chaos.
war,
You're
chaos,
running from
or do they
fire.
get separated and they're going to their next rendezvous because
Well,
they
there
have
was
like
a rendezvous,
backup
but they
plan?
but if you remember
like
too,
as far as like all of the separate groups, you know what I mean?
they're just getting the hell out of there because I don't
Right.
think any of them made it to the designated rendezvous. So they just scattered, tried to find anywhere they could to hide. They hid in a minivan. How stupid was that? Like that's season
Right.
1 type crap. You don't do
Right,
that.
right.
But what else are you gonna do?
It's season 1
Exactly.
type crap.
What
You don't
are
do
you
that.
You're still alive this long, and now you're hiding in a minivan. They watched you go in it.
Right.
Half of them are human.
Right.
They're not all gonna leave you. If the human, the whisperers saw them go in there, they just hang around and be
Right,
like,
exactly. I don't know. Yeah, they could have just ran more,
right.
but
Oh well.
oh well.
I agree.
Yeah.
I hope they give us a bigger fight, a bigger battle. There's a lot more
For
zombies
sure.
left, and if Beta's, excuse me, taking over.
I mean, do you think we're going to see another battle?
I
or
think
is
by
it
Tony's
just-
IMDb episode titles, it insinuates maybe one of them's going to be a battle.
Yeah, I think that
Okay.
episode 15 is the communities prepare for the final battle. So I think episode 16 is going to be the battle, probably, which is the last
yeah.
episode of the season. And it has a title, but it doesn't have a description. The last episode of the season is called A Certain Doom.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
So that's when all the big stuff's happening.
Okay. Well.
So yeah.
Yeah, just slow down. Just slow down, you know.
Let's talk about something that's a little bit I'm forgetting. Once we get to the end and what he does to her.
Yeah.
I mean, we can jump right in. I
Yeah.
mean, we've been kind of talking
just
around
the
it the whole time. But
We
we
have.
can.
Like
I mean,
we're waiting for the big reveal.
we're like 25
Right.
minutes into this live stream, so we could totally talk about,
But
Alpha's dead.
Did you realize that
Yeah, I
he,
definitely
that
touched
he
up on it.
stabbed her the same way Rick did to him?
Yeah,
Right in
slit
the throat.
Like it's the same. Like it was the
And
same.
what-
Like
and
swipe.
I- for a minute, I was like,
Right.
he's just gonna let her suffer a minute, like he's been trying to do the whole time. Like, okay, this is the
Right.
final move, then we'll stitch her back up, kind of a thing. I'm like, almost my brain went, it's a Rick thing.
Right. I didn't even catch that.
But
That's
nope.
good.
But then, when he had the head, he threw it down, right?
To Carol.
That was to Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a minute there, my brain was like, he did it to the Whisperers, and the reason why I
Right.
thought that.
Well, it's because you saw the head roll and you just thought he's showing
Well,
it to
listen.
Beta or
Yes,
like the.
that's
like,
what I
right.
thought too.
My
yeah.
brother hasn't seen it. I'm sorry.
You're right.
And he's watching it like right now. So I
Mm.
was on the phone with him coming up here. And earlier in the day, I asked him what his predictions were. And one of them was exactly that. That he
What?
cuts off her head and throws it down to the Whisperers or to our
What?
team.
Right.
Like you had to have read something. He said he had not even
Oh
been on
my
the internet.
gosh, that's a good. That's
So
a good
when-
one. That's pretty
I'm
good.
supposed to call him on the way back home, so we'll
yeah,
see.
nice.
But he nailed it.
So
I wouldn't have called that.
right, exactly. But touching up on one that I don't quite remember.
Yeah.
Where is Lydia when she walks out of that cabin? Did we
She
see?
just kind of runs off. I don't.
Yeah, we
think
don't. I don't think we
where
actually
she
see
goes.
exactly
Yeah.
where
Okay,
she's at.
okay.
But Negan knows where he's put her, so I
Right.
mean it's a safe place. I can imagine.
And she got out. If Negan wanted her to stay there, I feel like
I
she
feel
would
like
have
Negan
stayed.
would
You
have
know,
just been like, you're gonna have to like sit her in the chair, tie her up, and be like, you're gonna have, there should have been a conversation there.
Right. It's like,
Right.
But he didn't want
also
to
at the
give
same
any
time,
clues to anyone, probably.
But maybe at the same time, he didn't have time for a conversation.
No, he didn't,
Right,
because he had to
right.
get her out, get back.
But he totally could have had a conversation because the way that she looked at him was like, oh, dude, Negan. Like, she was so relieved and, like, happy to see him. So I think he could have been like, hey, this is what I'm doing.
Well, I think
But then
that,
again,
but
he's
she
like,
wouldn't
hey,
have.
I'm about to kill your mom.
She's so
But,
desperate
you
to get
know,
out
Well,
of
I
that
know,
chair.
but I don't think he necessarily. I mean, he grabbed her and put her in a safe spot.
Right.
There's no conversation for him to be like, hey, you got to go hang out in this cabin, and she'd be like, no, I'm fighting this. Like I'm doing that.
Except
But
though he did
needed to
tie
keep
her up
her-
a bunch. He
Right.
could have been like said something. So that was a
He
bit.
could, yeah. I mean, he
But-
could have said something.
But
we just
had
don't
we
know.
had seen
I mean,
that, we
Right.
wouldn't have had that amazing ending.
True,
Right,
true.
right.
Like, it was good. It was well put
So
together.
I'm sure they'll give us a little bit of explanation, as we'll just dust over it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm excited that we're going to be catching back up with Michonne
Yeah.
in the next episode.
Yeah.
But I still want to see what's going to be happening to Negan and the Carol thing and see if like the group is going to find out. If I just so many things.
There is a lot. Plus the whole Eugene meeting up thing.
Yes, I'm excited about that. Seems like we're like kind of pulling in so many different directions.
Well, they're setting up
you
for the news.
know?
They're setting up for the next season.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I mean,
I think
that's
the
pretty good
the
about
whisperers are going out. We're killing off that whole thing. So we gotta start setting up. Where do we go from here? Which is what we titled this
Do you
episode.
think though? I mean, after encountering the Whisperers, it seems like handling the zombies is definitely not even an issue.
No,
anymore,
but no, I
right?
think
Right.
what we were talking about in last week's episode is now we're going to start getting into the New World Order and the what's the one
the
that
rebuilding of the
The
world.
Commonwealth.
the Commonwealth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so they're
I
gonna
think
go
we're
the
going to
other
introduce the
direction
Commonwealth,
with it.
and now we're going to go into more of a almost a
New
political
government.
maybe kind
Right.
of aspect of the show that could be kind of
I
cool.
hope they don't take very long with that. Plus, wouldn't it be cool though to find this place and they've got scientists and they've got like the old Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead movies
Yeah,
where they're
totally.
testing on them and finding out,
Well, it's like
kind of a Resident Evil. It could actually end up going into almost a bit like that. With
Yeah.
these,
yeah,
like
yeah.
facilities.
I like the medieval, like sprinkle
Dude,
that they have
yeah.
on
I
everything.
love-
But that's
I
how
love
it would
that
be,
side.
though.
I
That's how
feel
you
like
would
that's-
survive. You'd build
exactly.
things primitively, and
Absolutely.
You would,
But I said that last night. Like I was
You
like, man, I
did,
really
yeah.
love how it's just
but
like
they gave it to us.
yeah,
and they
like
did a good job.
like
with
the
it.
time jump really benefited this show a lot.
I
Like
agree.
it turned the show into a different kind of show.
But
and
at
it made
first
it really
we were all
cool.
sketchy about it. But you are when things are new and you have to deal with change. It's like
Yeah.
you just want to just hate it for a
Because
minute.
it has had a big tonal shift, I think, but not in a bad way. I think it's actually like it brought some life, breathed some life back
It
into the show a
did,
little
like,
bit more.
It really did.
But we're all going to be as happy as and excited as can be when the whole Rick story gets wrapped up and the movies come out. So it's like they have done a good
Yeah.
job there. I
to
don't
kind
think
of
I'm
make you want to see what's coming
right. Like
next.
just
you know,
keep that
the
in
curiosity.
my mind. We know they're going to get to that.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
We don't know about Heath yet, but oh well. We know they're going to get to Rick.
Where are you, Heath? Seriously, if we don't see Heath in the movie, I'm gonna freak
I
out.
feel like they're just going to give us like a quick nod to him. And that'd be
I mean,
that.
I just would like something. He was big enough to warrant something.
He's probably going to be working the
right?
bar at the Commonwealth.
And
like,
plus, they
this
put
week.
so much emphasis on it. We're gonna talk about this real quick. I'm just saying. Okay, so there was tire tracks, right?
Right.
And then there was a little note thingy.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what was said on the note.
Yeah.
If there was like all of that setup, why not even remotely touch up on that? I don't understand. You know
Let me
what
tell
I
you
mean?
about the show called The Game of Thrones, where they've set up this thing from the whole beginning.
Remember
of the
that she
show.
hasn't seen the end of
I
it
know.
yet.
I'm not going to give anything away. And then after they've set this up for the whole show at the end,
Yeah.
they really don't talk about it. Hopefully, they're not going to do
Yeah,
that.
and that's with main characters. So this other side character guy.
But I
is
think
totally
if they
fine.
show us
Okay,
Heath and they
that's a
give us
lot,
some
yeah.
Heath action, they'll have
be
to
cool.
explain what the hell happened to him. I think
Yeah.
they nodded at it when what's her name Jardis had the RV, because that's kind of wasn't he in the RV or that was
That was
Some-
what was there.
right?
Yeah.
and
he
then
was the
it
one
was
that
like,
had
well,
that
she
idea.
has that. That means maybe he's
and
because she was sending people away in a helicopter.
right.
Right.
And she might have sent him away. She says, and like I forget. I was just reading this the other day.
What about what's his name's wife? Could have been one of them too. The old evil Daryl's wife.
Yeah, Yeah, Dwight.
Unless
I was
Dwight's
expecting
wife
to
comes,
see her
yeah,
again.
She's another one.
Mm-hmm. Definitely was expecting to see her again. But that one makes more sense than the Heath one, but
Yeah, because they built it up more.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I feel like they're...
Did they give a roundabout date for the movie at all?
I think it's supposed to be this fall,
I
right?
heard
Didn't
fall,
they
yeah,
released like a
but
trailer or a
I heard
Like
it
a
release
little
date?
teaser thing?
Yeah.
I heard it was the fall. Man, I'm ready to see that.
Yeah,
Especially
sure.
if there's going to be 3 of them. Oh my God.
Did they say 3? I guess I
think
missed
originally
that.
they said there was going to be 3 movies that were
Okay.
based around Rick.
Theater, like selected theater?
Releases, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
At this-
don't know
Well,
about
at this
that.
rate, did you hear about Universal? They're releasing everything theatrically online. So maybe that'll happen.
With like
You
the
know what's gonna-
coronavirus like
Yeah.
going on, they're
They're
doing.
releasing their movies online
I mean,
instead of the theater, which is, if they do that,
they were
that'll
gonna do that
completely
kind of
abolish
thing
theaters.
eventually.
Well, I was
I
gonna say,
feel
well,
like,
here's the thing. This is
it's
what's
just,
gonna
like
suck.
Speeding it
Once
to
they
that
get this set
point.
up and they're using it, they're not going to go back from it.
No, they're
Right.
not.
That's what's. I was just about to say that. Like they've been tiptoeing around
Zombie
this whole
response team.
directly to
Yes.
directly to VOD kind of style of releasing movies for a while now. So this kind of gives them that ability to play in that space without people complaining about it because they still get to see the movies they've been wanting to see.
Right.
They're not
right.
complaining now.
But
Exactly.
but you can't beat the theater.
I remember when The Walking Dead
you
showed
know.
a movie and everybody was so excited. Wow, movie theater, cool. That's going to be
Right.
us in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Oh.
Movie theaters will come back like video stores are coming back
yeah,
now.
Right. Did you hear they opened a movie theater back in town?
I don't. That just sounds.
It sucks because like the movie
Crazy.
theaters will still exist, but
Be
they'll
like
just be like, we'll have
drive-ins.
to drive to Indianapolis to see a movie.
Yeah.
Like it'll be like that. Like like the only place you can go see a movie is like the IMAX because now it's an experience or whatever.
Crazy.
Luxuries.
Maybe not.
Crazy.
Hopefully not. Hopefully theaters stick around because that's my like
I just
favorite
need,
thing
like,
to
my
do.
paper bag.
I mean,
Crazy.
it is.
So Michonne episode next week. Pretty excited. Pretty excited.
Yeah, we'll see what that brings us. I didn't
So-
see a sneak. Well, I did see the sneak peek because I know it's
I-
Michonne's episode.
We
but
saw
yeah.
we saw the
didn't
trailer for
watch-
next week.
No Talking Dead.
No Talking Dead. What was the trailer?
Yeah, hold on. So no Talking Dead because of the
Because of the
I
coronavirus.
believe so.
Coronavirus,
Yeah,
right.
I'm
'cause they-
assuming that studio is closed.
Because they
or
just
whatever.
play because they're not having a crowd full of people.
Right, but what a
Right.
horrible
live
time
audience.
not to have that when they had a major character killed.
I mean, I'm sure it was the very last minute
Yeah.
decision to go.
'Cause
All
of
right, we're
course
not
she
doing
was
it.
like going to be on the show.
but they didn't have to have a studio audience. It could have been a Skypey thing
True.
from wherever.
True.
Right, but like half their shows, like
She's in
studio
England,
interaction.
but she's
stuff,
in
they'd have
England
to, like,
anyway,
do everything.
Right.
right? She's English.
Yeah.
Alpha.
It's very interesting.
Anyway, no, we don't make those decisions.
Right.
Right.
Here we
And
are
from
doing
what
our
you said,
show
Chris
though.
Yeah.
Hardwick's kind of
Maybe
like
you
a.
won't get Talking Dead,
germaphobe.
but you'll get
Yeah.
Spoiling Dead. What's up?
Yeah, tune in.
Mm.
We are Talking Dead
Woo.
too.
We are Talking Dead as well.
We are Talking Dead also.
So what do you have going on in outside Walking
Well, I had
Dead
some
world?
stuff going on, and then Walking Dead world happened, and then we had to cancel some stuff.
Oh
But
man.
so yeah, just
Darn.
trying
end
to
of the world.
survive. How about
Just
you,
like
Becca?
nervous laughing.
Oh, we're gonna make it through this. We'll be fine.
Yeah, same thing. I was really excited about the Death Care shoot, and
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah.
But we're still gonna be plugging away for Midwest Action Fest. I just want you guys to know we're
we're not giving up on
still
that
full speed
until
ahead.
they tell us not to.
Exactly, and even then we have backup plans for that I think is going to be great.
Speaking
So
of
no matter
live,
what, it's going to happen. So fun things.
just
got-
gives us more time to create backup plans and
that's
new
right.
ideas and stuff like that.
The show must go on.
Oh, there it is.
What do you have going on, Tony?
I mean, same things you guys have going on.
It's a good thing he doesn't have anything going on that you don't know about. That would-
Right.
Yeah. I don't really have much going on. I'm trying to think if there's anything cool. No, not really. No. We're in the process of maybe getting a new computer, so that'll be cool.
That's
exciting.
exciting.
That is the new thing I've got going on.
Yeah.
I'm excited to edit some things here in the near future with a new machine.
New shows coming, hopefully.
Yeah,
This
hopefully
needs
some
a
new shows
red
coming out.
Threads logo on
That's
it.
Oh,
a
that's
really
good.
good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
for sure. Good idea.
Wasted space
Yeah,
here.
yeah. What I got going on is radentertain.com/radthreads.
Whoop whoop.
You can buy some sweet clothes.
What's that hat you're wearing there? Did you get that
Oh,
from
yeah.
Rad Threads?
There we go. Maybe I should wear this
Whoa.
forward, huh?
Talking of billboards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. All good things.
Right. Maybe you can get a nice zoom in on that hat. Look at that.
Look at that.
Yeah. Buy that hat. Get on there. Check out the hat. It's a good hat.
It's rad.
It's actually my favorite
It's
hat, and that's
rad.
not saying that because it's
Like
It's
the
comfortable,
material,
but it's like the
comfortable.
actual hat itself
Yeah.
is my
quality
favorite. It's
hat.
my favorite hat.
There it is, folks.
Right there. So are we closing this thing?
Let's
Do it.
close it.
Whoop whoop.
Take us
Cool.
out.
Okay, well, thank you guys for tuning in on Spoiling Dead. Come back next Monday at 5 Central, where we talk about what's going on with Michonne. And remember, this episode was brought to you by Rad Threads, and you can get that at www.radentertain.com/radthreads. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye.
Which camera? Which camera?